It's finally time to dismantle everything from the front end of the car. Who watched the previous episodes, then you know the story how I bought the car, and you know that we already rebuilt the rear end, and in last video we rebuilt the middle section of the underbody. But if you are new here and you like to watch the previous video first, then click into this corner and you can come back to this video later. But you don't have to, you can stick to this video. Probably most of you know that I started rebuilding the car from the rear end and slowly moving to the front end. This is why I didn't pay any attention to the front end, and this is where I got a little bit scammed. Do you asking yourself how and why have I been scammed? Because the previous owner told me that this car never been crashed before. Oh, how stupid and naive I was. Let me show you what I found. I did believe that on the bonnet is just this dent, but then you have a look a little bit higher and there is other dent. But this is not worrying. What is worrying is, I don't know if it's there a little bit different color, but you can see this bend on the bonnet. Yeah, so the bonnet is bent, which is not okay. Then you have a look inside and you can see how the bonnet is rotten. Not good, need a new bonnet. Next, the front bumper. On the passenger side is professionally fixed with zip tie. Then I get under the bonnet and discover this fixing point for the headlight. This doesn't look like OEM. If you have a look on the other light, it looks like this one. But most worrying is this bracket, because this bracket is bent. And if you have a look on the other side, this bracket is nice and straight. And this one look a little bit wavy. I guess as soon as I start taking the body panels off with the front bumper, headlights, etc., we discover more damage. I hope not, but who knows. Now, let's change the outfit because I don't want to destroy my brand new hoodie. And let's get into it. This is where we start. I changed into my working outfit. Let's get into work. I will speed up the process for you, but I will explain to you in voiceover what I am doing. So, let's get into work.
I remember when I touched the car for first time, I start with the wheels too. After I remove all 17mm wheel bolts, I can remove the wheels. Then I cut the zip tie on the side of the bumper and remove 2 bolts on the top middle section. Then we have a free pass to remove the bumper, even when it should be fixed with more bolts.
The front bumper was fixed on 2 bolts and 1 zip tie, but let's speed up the process.
When the bumper was down, then was time for headlights. I was very surprised, but they are actually fixed by 2 bolts on the top and nothing else. I was expecting more bolts. So remove them is easy, 2 bolts, few wires and headlights are out. Next on the list was front wings on the both sides. They are bolted in with 8 bolts, 4 on the top, 2 on the front, 1 behind the arch lining and 1 behind the door. After I did remove the arch lining, I had to remove the alarm sounder because it was in the way to get into the bolt. And as I said, all parts from the front needs to come off, so it had to be disconnected and removed anyway. I purchased a new battery, and for those who like to know how much new battery cost, it cost me £80. And the bumper is a crash bar which should be fixed with 6 nuts, but this one was fixed with 4 nuts only. Then I undo few clips that holds the electric wires for the rat pack. Then we can see the surprise.
After we drop the bumper and the crash bar, we can clearly see it's actually crashed on the passenger side. And by insurance, I believe this one would be category S. I'm not sure if this one is category S or no. I will have to check it, probably on Car Vertical or some these kind of websites. So, I don't believe there is further damage inside. It looks pretty okay behind it, and this bit, it looks pretty okay too. This bracket on the side looks fairly straight, it looks like on the other side. This bracket is bent and I believe I will have to change it or maybe straighten it up, but I don't know how to. This one I will have to replace, but I don't know how to do it. I never done it in my life. This is first project and I will have to ask someone how to replace this one. It's probably gonna be cut off and weld a new piece, but I don't know if it's possible to buy it still in Vauxhall, because I believe this is gonna be discontinued in Vauxhall. Wish me best luck, and I will have to look online if it's possible to get this piece. If not, I will have to probably find a spare car or who can sell me this piece. But I'm not stopping here. Now I will drop the bonnet, and we've got a lot of bits to do because everything from the engine bay have to come out. So let's go.
With the bonnet I needed help from my beautiful girlfriend, and after I removed 4 13mm bolts, we could take it away. Following the bonnet I removed battery tray, which was bolted in with 2 13mm bolts. After that I had to disconnect 3 pipes that was connected to the cooling reservoir and disconnect 1 electric wire for the level sensor. And I have to admit, squeeze the pipe clips was nightmare, but ahead of me is a lot of them. Next to remove, it was this washer bottle that was held in place by 2 bolts, and after I removed them, I had to remove small pump that push the washer fluid when you clean your windscreen. Then I moved to the front axle and start removing brake calipers. First remove brake hose that is bolted into the brake caliper, and after that I loose 2 bolts that hold the brake caliper in place. Then I use spray bar to push the caliper from the brake disc. And honestly, I can't wait when this one is gonna look like brand new. Following the brake caliper, I remove the brake disc that is held in by only 1 Torx bolt. Then friendly knock with the hammer, and big surprise, it was not seized. Next that had to be done was the steel clip that did not want to go out at all. This clip is in the axle for safety reason to stop the big nut to come out when it's loose. When I am done with the steel clip, I move to the suspension and remove the bolts that connect the suspensions with the wheel hub. If you like my content and you like to see more content like this, then you can support me by subscribing to my channel. Then I undo nut that holds the tie rod in the wheel hub and remove the tie rod. After that I try to separate the wheel hub from the arm, but I didn't succeed, so I leave it till it's gonna be out of the car. Then I move back to the drive shaft and remove the big nut. When it's all loose, we just push the drive shaft from the wheel bearing. Next on the list was drop links, and they was seized and I couldn't remove them, so I had to cut them off on both sides. When I was done with the drop link, I get back into the engine bay and remove the suspensions from the top mount. And I don't know what happened to this spring, but this is very bad. I never seen spring in bad shape like this one. After I remove the shock absorber, I start to losing bolts on the arm, which was very tight on one of the side. When I removed 2 bolts that holds the arm on the subframe, I could get the arm off. Next day I come back to the engine bay and start removing fuel vaporizer. It was held in place with 1 bolt and then disconnect 2 fuel lines. And this is the vaporizer. If I am right, this should help your engine breathe properly. After that I take the cover for the air filter, which is bolted in with few Torx bolts and 1 clamp pipe. The air filter is not looking so bad, better than the car right now, but I will change it anyway. Following that I remove the whole air box, fixed only with 1 bolt. Then I take off this air pipe that is fixed into the throttle body. I want to believe that this is an air intake and that is fixed with few hose clamps. And I needed to disconnect 1 wire for the sensor. I was not following any order, so then I drop bit lower and disconnect and remove horn. I believe this device is there just to annoy people, nothing else. Let me know how many people beep on you this week for absolutely no reason. Next to the horn is the radiator pack. So I did stay there and open the valve for the cooling liquid to come out. In the same time I started disconnecting all the fan wires and 2 AC wires. There was still hoses connected to the radiator that I had to remove it too, to be able to remove the radiator without any troubles. After I removed 2 AC lines, I ran into troubles anyway, because I had to split the whole rat pack, because I couldn't remove it in one piece. So I had to take the grinder out to cut one of the bolts. Then I was able to remove the AC condenser, and then I had more space to work with. Following that, I had a problem to take out the air intake pipe that was on the top of the radiator, and I managed to damage that, so I will have to fix it later on. After the pipe was away, I could lift the radiator and remove it from the car with wiggly strategy.
This is how you can realize I live in UK. It was raining again. But stop moaning, after I remove a lot of parts, next on the list is gonna be the drive shaft. After I remove the drive shafts on both sides, next is gonna be the subframe. After the subframe, I try to remove the transmission just to make the engine lighter, because the engine's gonna go up from the car with the engine hoist, or I'm gonna lift it with the engine hoist and get it into the garage. But stop wasting time, let's get into the work. After I finish that sentence, it started raining again, so I have to wait a little bit. I play a cat and mouse with the rain. But let me know in the comments down below if you like this project, if you like my videos, and let me know what you would change on this project and what you wouldn't change on this project. As well, if you like to support me, consider to subscribe the channel. You will help me, you will support me, and we can push more builds together. Let's play a waiting game.
But I didn't want to play waiting games, so I removed the drive shafts on both sides when it was raining. For that day I stopped working on the car because it was raining for the rest of the day. The next day I realized I ran into problem.
I did run into a bit of issue. I said I will drop the subframe and the transmission, but I just realized the engine is actually holding in place by the transmission and by one engine mount. So I can really remove the transmission because I don't have the engine hoist and I have nothing to support the engine. And I don't feel comfortable to drop the subframe because there is two transmission mounts on the subframe, and if I remove them, the whole engine with the transmission is gonna be only on two mounts, which is the transmission mount and the engine mount. Let me show you. The engine itself is fixed by this engine mount, this one, and the transmission is holding on this mount. There is one mount behind which is just there, and one on the front up here, this one. So the transmission is kept in a place by three mounts and the engine is kept in the place by just one mount. And I don't really feel comfortable to remove the subframe and remove the transmission because I don't want to hurt myself and I don't want to fall anything on the ground as the engine, or you know what I mean. So I have to wait till the engine hoist or the engine crane will come into my place, which is gonna be probably in 1 week. I'm not sure. So to be able to post this video as soon as possible for you, I will have to finish it here. If you haven't seen the previous video, click into this corner. If you like to support me, hit the subscribe button. Leave me some nice comments down below. Let me know what you think about this build. And I see you in the next one. Thank you very much. Cheers.